Time double flucker.
Hi, my name is Ricardo. I was born in Brazil and I grew up in Venezuela and now I'm living in Hawaii.
ここにいるのはもう本当にワールドチャンピオンだったりとか、ハワイの大会でもう何連覇もしてるような、また風が吹いてるタイミングでちょっと海とか見に来てもらえればすごいものが出ると思うので。
Windsurfing is a wonderful way to connect with ocean culture.
Hopefully next year I'll be able to speak as much Japanese as that.
Unfortunately for me, I get to discover the sport with the wind.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony. I come from the south of France, Marseille. First time for me in Japan.
住んでる地域は湘南に住んでます。水サービス最高なので皆さんでやりましょう。
野口龍です。年齢は15歳です。今回初、世界のプロのクラスに出ることができてすごい嬉しいです。
数があるだけみたいですね。とてつもないパフォーマンスしますからね。
女性限定で、今日誕生日の方、はい、もう一回、
おめでとう。じゃんけんぽん。じゃんけんぽん。
最初はグー、じゃんけんぽん。
すごい大きい、自分より大きいサイズを使ってそれを力でコントロールして、力で抑えて乗っているのか、それとも自分に合ったサイズをコントロールして使っているのか。
It really depends on the wind direction and on the wave direction. Because I never sailed here before, I had no idea how the wave was, and even though you can see on videos, but you only know really the angle of the wave when you're sailing. So for sails, I don't like to be overpowered. I like to make my sails work good, that I can use the smallest size possible every time that I'm planning. And then for boards, I brought a lot of boards that day and I was trying different ones. Usually when it's more onshore or weaker waves, I like the thruster better, and I used my nitro model on those days, and it looked from the videos that it would fit really good here before I came, so I brought it. And I also brought my keeper boards, the boards that I ride the question. Because I never sailed here before, I had no idea how the wave was, and even though you can see on videos, but you only know really the angle of the wave when you're sailing. So for sails, I don't like to be overpowered. I like to make my sails work good, that I can use the smallest size possible every time that I'm planning. And then for boards, I brought a lot of boards that day and I was trying different ones. Usually when it's more onshore or weaker waves, I like the thruster better, and I used my nitro model on those days, and it looked from the videos that it would fit really good here before I came, so I brought it. And I also brought my keeper boards, the boards that I ride the quads pretty much every day. And both boards worked good that day. In the morning, when the wind was lighter and it was not so much power, I was leaning more towards the thrusters. And then in the afternoon, once it started getting really windy, I swapped to the quad, and I felt a bit more comfortable with the quad because it was quite side shore. And the wave here is a steep, it's a smaller wave, but it's very steep, and the quad felt a little bit better.
急に上がってきたりするわけで、そういう時のためにオーバーセールでのトレーニングしてるのかっていうのは。
No, when I'm back home, choose the size that feels more natural and comfortable for the day. And for my training, it's actually a lot like free sailing. I try to match the conditions. Like if I'm going to a starboard tack contest, then I try to be on a place that I can sail starboard tack before the contest, and vice versa. But once I'm training, it's just like sailing. I put whatever feel most comfortable, and I make sure that it's the gear that I'm having a lot of fun. And because then if I'm not having fun, I don't feel like I improve anyway. So I just choose what looks right for the day.
結構やってる中で怖いタイミングとか結構なんか波のなんかでかい波に乗る時とかジャンプする前とか結構怖い時あるんですけど、そういう時ってどうしますか？
Yes, get scared all the time, and for me, in bigger waves, it's important to just go step by step. And when I started, small waves made me scared, and then I just did the same thing you guys are doing now. You spend a lot of time in Maui, and 5 years ago, you were maybe not sailing the same waves you sail now, and you look a lot more comfy. Nowadays, I stop. I prefer to do less with full energy, because if I keep dragging more, when I become tired, that's when I get more scared and hurt myself more, and so try to do less with more energy.
ジャンプで失敗した時に僕めちゃくちゃ痛いんですけど、痛いですか？
Yeah, it really hurts, especially as you get older. Hurts more and more, but you also learn more when you're older, and you avoid stop hurting. So it's important to focus on the technique and understand why it's not going wrong, because you don't want to be slapping yourself too much. But yeah, jumping hurts for sure.
痛くないのかなと思ってたの。
Well, if you come closer, you see.
ワールドチャンピオンになるために心がけてたことってありますか？
It's a lot of things, a lot of years doing it, and maybe focus my training a little bit more towards being consistent and landing things all the time with less mistakes, instead of trying to do like a bigger move, or because that's not so much contest. Like contest is more doing a package in a heat in 15 minutes. So I think it's just training for the right thing, spending a lot of time on the conditions that is the hardest for you. I think, like for me, starboard tack is more natural, so I had to spend a lot of time jumping port tack, because it was what I had a hard time in the beginning. And then that was pretty much that. Just try to be out of the comfort zone a little bit and do what I struggled most with.
こんにちは、ゴヤのライダー、日本のライダーやらせてもらってます、白方よしです。どこで見てもブラウジーニョは、ハワイで見てもスペインで見てもブラウジーニョにいて、いつでも落ち着いてると思うんですけど、そういうメンタリーとか、あとは大会のそのモチベーションだったりとかっていうのを聞いてみたいなと思ってます。
It wasn't like that when I was younger. It was more when you're younger, you get maybe more happy when you do well and more upset when you don't. But as you get older, it's a little bit easier to be more in the middle, but you still feel upset when you lose and happy when you win. But it's I don't know, you get used to it. It's so many years doing the same thing, and in the beginning you feel like it's so life and death, but then as you get older, there's always another contest, another thing, and you get used to all of it. So I don't know, it's easier to feel a little bit. Also, all of the guys in my generation, we've been doing the tour for so long, going to the same places, and you know what to expect, you know the people when you go to places, so it's easier to feel more comfortable after some years on tour.
日本のみんな若手がブラウジーニョを見たりとかして、すごくモチベーションをもらってるというか、憧れを抱いてる選手が多分多いと、僕も含めてそうなんだけど、憧れを抱いてる選手が多いと思うので、そういったみんなに向けて何か言葉をもらえたら嬉しいなと思います。
Well, first of all, it's an honor to hear that. It's really, I feel really honored to hear this, and the Japanese generation now, it's coming really strong. I see the guys doing exactly what they have to do to succeed. They are taking, I think, the really right steps. They spend a lot of time in Hawaii. They spend a lot of time in Pozo, and you can see they're not just sailing to log in hours. They're really focusing on what they're doing, because their level is getting higher and higher. So it's really exciting. You know, the new generation is coming really strong, and they are sailing mature for their age, and I'm sure just a matter of time before we see those guys on top. And yeah, want to congratulate them because they are on a good track doing the right things.
ダブルループを何百回もやってるんですけど、全然立てないんで、先生に教えてほしいです。
Yeah, it's there's a lot of little things that can help on the double loop. Is also, no matter how many times you explain the technique, it's really repetition that once you do more and more and more, you slowly get the feeling more and more, and without noticing you're doing the technique just from the feeling that you get from the sail and from the boom. But it's really all about going really fast, like fully committing. When you decide to go, you really have to go, because if you are thinking about it, it can become a little bit dangerous. And you want to try to get high, but not like a straight jump. It's more like you're going to do a high speed loop and just keep going. Like you want to think of a planing forward and keep going that way. Make yourself really small in the air so that you can spin faster. And yeah, it's just, I think, keep trying. For me, it was the same thing. It took a lot of years landing on the back, and then slowly you start landing more on your legs, and then you get more and more the feeling. But it's pretty much like a speed loop. You want to be going downwind as fast as you can, and think of like doing a planing forward like you would do on a lake, and just try to keep the speed. And you don't, when you jump, you want to go high, but you don't want to go straight up. You want to have that jump that has like almost like you're trying to do a length jump, you know, try to jump far. That's the kind of good jump to do the double for, not the one that you go. No, it's good to go high, but not like straight. It's good like you doing like a distance jump, because that way you keep the forward momentum more. Like if you go really straight up to get high, it is easy to get high, but then that's kind of when you can go into a cheese roll or more different rotation.
We don't know about windsurfing, but we have two questions for you. What makes you start surfing?
I started windsurfing because my dad and my uncle were windsurfing a lot when I was a kid. Also, the place where I was born is very good. There was trade winds year round. We had a lot of wind, and it was really accessible. And I got good support. But then once I started doing it, I got really hooked on windsurfing, because to me, it's a mixture of a lot of sports that I look up to. Like we can wave ride, kind of similar to surfing. But then when you're going back out, you don't have to be paddling. You can go jump against the ramps like motocross. So it's very, very dynamic. And also when I started traveling everywhere I went, as a kid, the windsurf community and the people were so nice, and they were so welcoming, and I made many friends as a kid, and just never look back, just keep going.
Thank you.
さあどうする？おお！飛んでいる。引っ張ってきた。ここから再スタート。さあ、波のタイミングはどうだ？どれを狙うか？さあ、波がどうだ？おーっと、ここ